Welcome everyone to a new episode from the Maronite faith. As you know, in our program, sometimes we deal with directly with topics that have to do with the Maronite faith and heritage, and sometimes we treat a biblical character or an event. And today we're continuing with the character of Abraham from the Old Testament, and we're going to be concentrating today on the three visitors that arrived and gave Abraham the good news that him and his wife, they're going to bear a son, and he's going to be the son of the promise. Although Abraham was 100 at the time and Sarah was 90 years old. We read in chapter 18 of Genesis, "The Lord appeared to Abraham by the oaks of Mamre, as he sat at the entrance of his tent in the heat of the day. He looked up and saw three men standing near him. And these three men are the ones who are going to tell him that he is going to bear a son." And we ask ourselves, who are these three men? Some say it's the Trinity, some say it's the three angels of the Lord. What's sure and certain that they carried the Lord's message with them. And the Lord's message is always a true message. It did happen the way they said to him, "You will bear a son," and he did bear a son. And it's always good news. And sometimes we ask ourselves, does the Lord still visit me now in this time and age? Do I get visits from heaven? And for me to tell if it's a visit from heaven or not, it has to be good news. The Lord will never send you a scary message, a troubling message, a message that will give you anxiety. All his messages, if you look all through the Bible, they start with, "Do not be afraid." That's what the angel told Zechariah in the temple. "Do not be afraid, Zechariah. Do not be afraid, Mary." God's message always carries a good news. And so we ask ourselves, how is God going to visit me nowadays? And he visits us every day if we choose to read his word. Through his word, he will have a message for you, and the message will be good news. And also he visits us through the sacraments. Every time you go to confession, the Lord is talking to your heart. Every time you receive the body and blood of Christ during the Mass, the Lord has a special message for you. Every time you go and visit a sick person, you attend to a needy friend or a needy family, the Lord will be speaking to your heart at that time. So it's really, the Lord wants to visit us all the time. It's up to us if we do have time for him, and if we decide that no, today, no matter how busy I am, I'm going to spend some time reading his word, going to church, praying, and hearing his message. And speaking of those three visitors, I just wanted to show you an icon that's very famous, that we think it depicts that passage. But I just thought this is an opportunity for me to explain this icon of the Trinity. The icon is drawn by Rublev about 400 years ago. He used to be a monk, and there was an old icon basically showing the three visitors. The old icon had in it Abraham and Sarah and lots of food on the table. When that icon got damaged and Rublev was asked to draw it again, he drew it and he removed Abraham and Sarah and removed the food off the table. And he said, if I am to depict the Trinity in an icon, I will not choose that text, the famous text that we were talking about of the three visitors. I will choose a different text. And the text he chose is when Christ says to his disciples, I am going to the Father, and I will ask him to send you the Holy Spirit. So this is the text that's being depicted in this icon. And if you are to look at it and you say, okay, but where is the Father? Where is the Son? Where is the Holy Spirit? Try to have a guess. I failed when I tried to guess it. I thought that the Father is going to be in the middle of the icon, because being Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, he should be giving the most important seat. But at the time of Rublev, all the icons were Christocentric, which means Christ is in the middle of the icon. From now on, look at all the icons that you know, you will realize that they all have Christ in the center. So he said, if I am to put the Father in the center, I will confuse the people. So here's what I'll do. I'll put Christ in the center, and I will make him look to his right hand at the Father. Same with the Holy Spirit, to the left hand of Christ in the middle, he is looking at the Father. So we see the Son and the Father, and the Son and the Holy Spirit, they both lead us to the Father, who is at the right hand of Jesus. And we look at them sitting at that table. That table basically is the altar, and he's telling us every time you approach the altar of the Lord, every time you go to the Mass, you enter into this relationship of the Trinity. And you see the three parts of the table, they are filled, but the part that you're looking at is empty, saying that the viewer of this icon, who's myself, who's anyone who's looking at this icon, that's the empty seat for us. The Trinity has an empty seat for us to enter into this relationship, and the relationship we can enter through it during every time we attend the Mass. And behind each of the characters, he put something to show who they are in case we miss it. He put behind Christ a green sprout, and this is from Isaiah chapter 11, verse 1. A green shoot will sprout from Jesse's stump. Jesse is the father of David. From his roots, a budding branch. So we say that Christ is that branch that came from Jesse, and Jesse being as I said, the father of David. Behind the Father, you see houses. That's from John 14:2. Jesus says, "In my Father's house there are many dwelling places." Many dwelling places waiting for us, basically. And we see those dwelling places behind the Father. And behind the Holy Spirit, we see the rock. And on this rock, the church is formed. And that's what the Holy Spirit helped us in building the church. As always, if you do have any questions, please do not hesitate to email me on askamaronite@hotmail.com. Ask a Maronite, all one word. I wish you all a wonderful day, and may God bless you always.